Look at the paintings. I would look at the statue, but it's not going to look any different without painting 1 solved also. So painting 3. It's called Four Walls. You brush your finger against the canvas, and a fogginess creeps into your field of view, stifling your vision. Your vision fades to white as vertigo strikes you. You find yourself, moments later, in an empty space. You awaken in a cramped, sterile room. The walls are bleached unnaturally white, and they glow faintly, illuminated by some unknown force. You can barely move. It looks like we're just in a tiny square there. It's definitely a difference. It's impossible to stretch out. There's only room to turn around in place. Within moments, the stagnant air becomes more dense. It's harder to breathe. The walls are pushing in, and there's nowhere to go. The white space is pressing in all around you. Make it stop. Please. Breathe. No breath. Move. Only stasis. Emptiness outside. Emptiness within. Just 4 walls. 4 walls. 4 walls. 4 walls. 4 walls. 3 walls. 2 walls. 1 wall. These walls. 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 The silence is deafening. Break the silence. Screaming as loud as your lungs can muster, you pummel the walls until your hands are blistered and raw. As you slump against the wall, exhausted, your blood drips from your hands to the floor. It pools by your feet, seeping into previously invisible cracks in the bleached surface. This reveals an inscription. It reads, Chapter 4, The Canvas of the Mind. It's an entire introspective chapter, presumably. Look around. The blood seeps away into the floor itself and vanishes. Looking up, something is different. Are your eyes playing tricks on you? It appears the room has grown slightly larger. 1 room, 4 walls. Alright, let's look around. North wall. The surface is smooth and cool to the touch. Pressing your ear to the wall, you hold your breath and listen carefully. Your pulse beats loud in the white silence. But it seems there's nothing here, just a blank, unyielding wall. West. The wall to the west feels slightly damp to the touch. Is that thunder you hear rumbling in the distance? Your bones begin to ache as you feel the approaching storm. Except you're pressed against a wall in a small room, just a wall, nothing more. So, I think they said cold, damp, south wall? South wall feels curiously rough beneath your fingertips. It's pockmarked with tiny holes dotting its entire surface. They're almost invisible until you put your face close enough. Small puffs of air seep out from the pores every few seconds. Is the wall breathing? Couldn't be. It's just a wall. Then finally, east wall. The east wall is firm, solid, impenetrable. As you press closer, a musty smell of freshly disturbed soil greets your nose. It's coming from the wall itself. Holding your ear to the surface, you hear the faint sound of movement coming from beneath. Tiny pinpricks of sound clattering away, but the wall remains there, unmoving. How long have you been in this place? Hours? Days? Scouring the same 4 walls over and over again. Continue searching. So we have 4 walls. This one was cold. This one was damp, this one was breathing, and this one was musty, basically. Do we just keep checking? Wall is cool, but it's devoid of imperfection, not a scratch, blemish, nook, cranny, or marking to be found anywhere. Its purity taunts you. So beautiful, so hateful. But just a wall nonetheless. So the description actually changed for the north wall, the one that was cool. The cold, empty surface reflects back at you. There's nothing here. Alright. Let's keep going then. West. A salty mist waves over your face. It's almost refreshing. You lick the brine from your parched lips, and the room begins swaying and rocking. Tossing and turning in the turbulent sea, you grasp at the air and steady yourself. Vertigo overtakes you as the waves come crashing over your head. When your eyes open again, you're left clutching the wall. Keep going west, a solid white wall on dry land. So my hallucinations are quickly snapping back, and I'm going back to just being like, no, it's a wall. Nothing that I thought was happening is happening. South wall. Now you can almost hear the hiss of air teasing you from the south wall. What slumbers within this porous obstacle? What does it think about you pressing so close to it? A silly thought, honestly. Walls can't think or breathe or slumber. South again. One of 4 walls in a small room. Not even a single detail after that point. So the idea here is probably the idea of supreme isolation, like when you put a person in that room. I saw it on Veritasium, actually. Like, it's a room where everything is completely pitch black, completely sealed, where no light could possibly enter the room. And on top of that, all of the rooms, it's covered in like sound isolation and sound insulation and foam and so on, so that there's no sound or light from the outside world, and all you can hear is your own body. And so you hear your own pulse, and you hear your own heartbeat, and you hear your own breathing and nothing else, and you can't see anything. So you start imagining sight and stuff like that. And being stuck in a small room with 4 walls that could be virtually identical, just constantly observing them over and over again, this person might start picking up on the slightest imperfections or the slightest differences between them that might not even be entirely real. They could even be imagined from scratch, and the slightest bit of input when there's no sensory input is making it so dramatic. So he thinks that there's a hint of salt from one wall, and then suddenly he feels like he's at sea because it's just overwhelming. East wall. The minuscule clatter behind the firm surface tiptoes around your head, leaving traces like faint footprints. You follow their path, leading you deep inside. Through the forest, through the valley, they lead you to an old house. Its windows are clouded with dust, wood rotting from the passage of time. You reach out to knock the ancient door, and instead find yourself tapping away at a blank white wall. Has it been years instead? Perhaps decades. Your flesh feels tighter, more brittle. There must be a way out of here. Find an escape. Alright, so they're definitely still happening. Every wall makes me go further and further into that hallucination. North wall. Touching the icy surface burns your fingertips with a lick of frostbite. As you listen, the tap 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 of a chisel hammers away in the distance. Is it coming from the wall? Your keen ear melts through the white void, through snowy barriers and into the frozen surface beyond. The tap tap tapping grows louder, sharper, and you can almost feel its kiss on your eardrum. Tap 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 tap. 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 Round, then sharp, then boxed inside. 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 Forget this rhyme, you won't survive. Huh. Strange thing for a wall to say. But then again, it's just a wall. Nothing more, nothing less. Round, then sharp, then boxed inside. I wonder if that means I need to inspect the walls in a specific order? Or if it's even related to anything. It could even be a clue about something that happens later in the dungeon somehow, or later in this chapter. Round, then sharp, then boxed inside. Let's just write that down. There we go. I went ahead and made a note just in case that comes up. Alright, on to the west wall again. As you touch the damp hard surface, your mind dives into the wall, swimming in its emptiness. Searching the depths, the darkest reaches flung far from the shores, you hear a voice. The ocean speaks to you like an old friend, a lighthouse offering direction to steer your ship home, clear from the treacherous rocks. Reverse the order of the northern border. Oh. Went ahead and wrote that one down real quick. So our west wall is saying to reverse the order of the northern border, meaning that probably to reverse the instructions from the northern wall. So instead of round then sharp then boxed inside, it would be boxed inside then sharp then round. Whatever that means. figure that out. Lest you... The voice fades off in the distance before you can hear the rest of its message. Can I get more of that? Just a plain old wall, nothing more. Alright, south. As you place your face next to the porous wall again, the gentle hiss of air coming from within becomes a sudden, formidable gust. Indeed, sprawling out on the floor seems a safer place to be than pressed up against the turbulent wind wall. The million tiny pores glow red, and the air grows hot and oppressive. Amidst the howling gale comes a booming voice. Liars. All liars. Don't listen to the fools. Such nonsense that's spewed. One sharp, then another sharp, then another makes three. Went ahead and made a note of that one. So apparently the south wall is saying that all of the walls are lying, which may even include itself, and it's saying that sharp, sharp, sharp is the answer. All good for cutting, an escape plan for ye. But the wind is now gone, and just a wall remains. Finally, the east wall. You reach out to the wall's surface, blink, and the world changes around you. Your hand isn't touching the wall, but the ancient wooden door of the mysterious cabin. Insects chirp away in the leafy underground surrounding the cabin. It's almost nightfall as the cool air wafts through the trees. You pause to listen for a moment, and beneath the din of the tiny voices you hear another sound. It's a whisper, a rumble, coming from the damp earth below. Squared outside, sharp inside, circle the center, you'll stay alive. Went ahead and wrote that one down too. And then the forest is gone, the door is gone, the earth is gone, the crickets are gone, just a wall remains. Wait. An opening appears on the west wall. As you step into the room, you hear a fsh sound behind you. You turn to find the passageway you came through has disappeared. You're trapped again. You're in another empty room. Another empty white room. However, there's something on the floor in the center. As you crouch down to investigate the object, you discover it's a small, thick-handled paintbrush. Examine the paintbrush. Its bristles are soft to the touch. They feel nice on your skin as you press the tip of the brush into your open palm. Your fingers trace a path over the handle, which appears to be made out of some kind of bone. Etched into the handle of this artistic tool, you find strange runic symbols and primitive shapes. A circle, a large square, a small square, and a V. Familiar yet alien. Circle, large square, small square, and a V. At the very bottom of the brush handle, your fingers pass over an odd indent. Just went ahead and wrote down the symbols we saw on the brush really quick. The odd indent. It's a secret button, not so secret anymore. You press the tiny button and a thin, sharp blade springs forth from a concealed hole at the base of the brush. Examine the paintbrush. It's a soft paintbrush with a creepy handle and a blade concealed in the base. So we can use the paintbrush. You don't have any paint, but there is the blade. Desperation to escape this ivory prison takes hold of your mind. As the sting of the blade draws across your flesh, your blood flows freely. You dip the brush into your open wound. It's time to paint. What a cheerful game. Alright. Images of shapes and symbols race through your memory. What symbol will you begin painting? Our choices are large square, circle, small square, sharp edge. It talked about cutting before, so I would assume that would be the edge. Let's review our notes. Alright, so our descriptions are, and one of these is a little more paraphrased, unfortunately. Let's see. Round, then sharp, then boxed inside is what the north said, but then west said reverse the order of the northern border. Then south said all liars, sharp 3 times, or something more articulate than that. And then east said squared outside, sharp inside, circle the center, you'll stay alive. East certainly sounds intricate, which kind of feels like makes it feel like a solution. Also, it's the most welcoming of the 4 walls, so that may be something to go on, but really it's just random things lying to me, so it's hard to say. It'd also be interesting trying to navigate the logic behind this one, just giving some directions. Like, it says squared outside, sharp inside, circle the center, you'll stay alive. Makes me think square, then sharp, then circle, but I don't know what the spatial representation is going to be like. We'll see what the options turn out to be. We'll see how this goes. So let's try the large square. Since it says square outside, the large one would probably be the best one for that. The words from the earth below resonate inside you. The forest is calling. The soil whispers your name. With the brush steeped in your juices, you apply yourself to the wall in broad strokes, speaking the words. Squared outside. You dip your brush again, weakening slightly. Sharp inside. More vital ink. You're going slightly pale. Circled the center. You slump to the ground and admire your work, drained of essence and exhausted. As you pore over your art, the painting seeps slowly into the wall, fading away, and the wall itself fades away. There's now a hallway in its place. A dozen steps into the hallway, the ground crumbles beneath you. You're falling, 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 deep into the earth, until your skin becomes soil, your bones become dust, your organs become minerals, and your mind fully casts off the confines of the flesh. Okay, I just died. Never mind. Maybe the one that says they're all liars is the right... I don't know if this one actually is a puzzle. This one might be a guessing game, unfortunately. I could say that the one that says they're all liars... Let's see. Cold ocean breathing. Maybe the breathing is the one that's telling the truth? It does seem that literally all of them could be right, huh? Oh well. Alright, I'm back. It actually takes a lot of clicking to get back to this spot, so it's kind of a bummer. A lot of those falling and no, actually falling was afterwards, but the dots and the waiting and so on. Out of the options I'm given here, I don't think any of them are particularly clues of what could be definitely the answer, so I think it's kind of a guessing game, so... I'm somewhat encouraged by the one that says all liars, that calls all the other ones liars and says to do sharp 3 times, because statistically they are, when one of them's right, the other ones have to all be liars, and maybe that one's the one to go for, but it's totally a crapshoot. Let's try the sharp edge. The words from tempestuous wall of heat and breath to the south seem prudent, trust no one. Jagged lines come to mind, sharp and cunning like the fox. With the brush steeped in your juices, you apply yourself to the wall in broad strokes, speaking the words. One sharp. You dip the brush again, weakening slightly. Then another. More vital ink, you're going slightly pale. Then another makes 3. You slump to the ground and admire your work, drained of essence and exhausted. As you pore over your art, the painting seeps slowly into the wall, fading away. The wall itself fades away, and there's now a hallway in its place. You enter the long hallway, the long white hall, and trudge forward endlessly. The path winds into a dead end. There's something small on the floor ahead. It's a small, plain box. There's a tiny latch on its front surface. Inside the box, you find a scrap of paper folded into quarters. You unfold the note, draw the paper close to your face, and squint to read the tiny message scrawled onto it. It reads, I'm a liar too. A sharp pain jolts your body. It's coming from below. The note drops from your fingers, and you look down at the sharp spike spewing your abdomen. It's joined by another, and another. And then another makes 3. So the 3 sharps. You slump into oblivion as your last drops are drained. You've perished again. Dear Lord. Alright, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I've got a lot of clicking in my future. I was trying to examine the descriptions of the 4 walls this time around to see if any of them seem welcoming, but really all 4 of them start out as seeming welcoming and then turn more sinister. I think the one that stays most welcoming is probably the cabin, but that's the one that ultimately betrayed me first. Thematically, last time I got betrayed for being manipulated and not believing in people, so maybe I should go with the initial one that I went with. For the sake of continuity of thought, if nothing else. The northern one, the one with the ice, said, round and sharp then boxed inside. Forget this rhyme, you won't survive, indicating that if I change my mind or anything like that, that's how I die. Could be true. Could be another liar, possibly. But the fact that I've been manipulated by a liar just now, and the other option of a wall, the west one, is telling me to do the opposite of the north one, that just feels like another thing of not sticking to just what people say, and maybe you should just be trusting in this situation. Honestly, I'm grasping at straws. Circle. You recall the tapping rhyme on the northern wall. It speaks to you with greater urgency than the others, striking a chord deep within. With the brush dripping from your own essence, you spread tiny flecks of yourself across the hard, white canvas to recite the words. Round. You dip your brush again, weakening slightly. Then sharp. More vital ink. You're growing slightly pale. Then squared inside. You slump to the ground and admire your work drained of essence and exhausted. As you pore over your art, the painting seeps slowly into the wall, fading away, and with it the whiteness also fades. In its place, as your eyes adjust, you see a long hallway leading off into the unknown. Summoning your remaining strength, you drag yourself into the hallway and set off into the white realm below, beyond. The corridor continues on a seemingly endless path, deep into nothingness. There's a chill in the air. Pushing further down the hallway, you notice the temperature has fallen dramatically. You can now see your own breath. You press onward, as soon as the cold grows almost unbearable. I feel like if you stop and rest and close your eyes or something like that in the snowy settings, that's how people die, so we need to keep pushing forward. A snowflake brushes your cheek, then another and another. Within seconds, you're covered in snow, caught in a blizzard as you trudge step by step into deepening snow. Oh yeah, this definitely looks like they're tempting me with more and more ways to die, which I think implies that I may have made the right choice. Continue pushing forward. We can't rest no matter how tired we are. The walls, hallway, and floor have disappeared. All bearings are lost. Your eyelashes are frozen, teeth chattering, numbness enveloping you like a blanket. Continue. One last push. You force yourself to keep moving forward anywhere. Another step, 2 more, 3, 4. And then you notice a brilliant glow in the distance cutting through the whiteout. You will yourself towards it. With every step closer, an inkling of warmth unfurls inside you. It's subtle at first, but it grows and grows and grows until you find yourself grasping, clawing your way towards the light, pushing ever onward. Soon your feet are walking on soft grass. The dampness in your bones is replaced by the kiss of sunlight. A lone purple flower sits in the center of a grass clearing, surrounded by a snowy valley. It looks so peaceful, so serene. You find yourself on your knees in front of the flower. So you can pick it, inhale its aroma, or give into your burning hatred for its mocking ways. Jesus. Let's just smell it. Leaning in close, you take a deep breath and inhale the delicate flower's sweet, fragrant essence. A calm serenity washes over you as the spores fill your nostrils, taking root inside your olfactory passages, where they begin to rapidly grow, goddammit, snaking tiny vine tendrils into your soft tissue, worming their way deeper into your skull and wrapping themselves around your brain matter. The pressure builds as your vision blurs and you begin to convulse. Your head explodes internally with a sickening pop, as the internal fluids and matter seep down to water the beautiful flower whose thirst is finally satiated. The world is darkness, everywhere. God damn, this game is relentless. The fact that there seem to be a bunch of options, though, makes me think that the snow one was the correct path, and you just have to do a different action with the flower, and I'm thinking we're probably going to murder the crap out of that flower. God damn it. Oh, man. This game's brutal. Alright, we're back at the flower at long last. I've got to be honest, will you give into your burning hatred for its mocking ways? I don't even know what that means, and I kind of feel like I have to find out. Overcome by a sudden rage, you use the last bit of your strength to stamp all the life from the horrid plant. And in doing so, you break the spell it held over you. The world melts and fades from your vision. You feel reinvigorated as you find yourself once again in the gallery chamber of the dungeon, a welcome sight compared to your white-walled prison. We made it. Torchlights illuminate the entire length of this decadently adorned hall. A series of gallery paintings are hung along the north wall. Alright, so I just need to go through and resolve the other 2 paintings real quick and hopefully not die afterwards, because then I'll have to do this all again. But hey, I know the solution. By the way, being trapped in a dungeon and having a mocking flower manipulating you, definitely thinking of Undertale for a few reasons right now. So here's a bit of an interesting little twist. I came back to do Kilal, because I'm resolving the previous chambers, because the entire floor resets every time you lose, because you go back to the main menu and kind of pick a checkpoint, basically. The question changed, interestingly enough. I don't know if it's randomized or if doing specific actions causes a different one to show up, because I don't exactly know how Twine works and how it's designed, but he's asking me which of these names am I not known by? The Transmuter, the Puzzle Keeper, and the Truth Eater, and the Shapeshifter Adept. This is interesting because last time he asked me what number symbol was in the book, basically, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a boring, weird question. So like the idea that it changes and some of them are more specific to Keelal is actually more interesting to me. So Keelal's names are the Transmuter, the Shapeshifter Adept, and the Puzzle Keeper. So the Truth Eater is not one of his names. Your intellect is most satisfying. Alright, so now we're back in the gallery, all 3 rooms solved. A towering statue stands watch over the far eastern wall. You watch as the third eye opens on the statue, and the stone that encased it crumbles away to reveal actual flesh. The disemboweled being stumbles forward, attempting to shovel its own innards back inside its decimated torso. It fails and fumbles to the floor, shattering in a spray of liquidescence and rotten meat. Nothing left remains of the foul, doomed creature, but the path forward is now clear. As you proceed into a narrow hallway, the entrance crumbles behind you, blocking you in. There's no way to go but forward. You round the corner into an open room with a stone obelisk in the center. As you gaze upon its surface, the stone resonates as a blinding flash of crimson light envelops the chamber. You feel the pain inside you has changed. The sickness eating you from within is gone. You feel reborn anew. But something else has crept into that void. Something wicked, something dark and malevolent, gnawing at you with a different kind of hunger. Serpentine desires, needs of the flesh. It cries out for escape. You strain your mind and force it back deep down within, but are unsure of how long you can keep it under control. There's a hallway to the north and a hallway to the south. Well, the south is crumbled, so north. The hallway is filled with a bright light emanating from the chamber ahead. North. As you step foot into this room, the air at the far side of the chamber opens into a massive swirling portal. You can see vestiges of the normal human world peeking through the other side. The darkness within grows anxious. Enter the portal and go home. Holding your breath, you walk straight into the portal and emerge on the other side, outside your apartment door. It's home. You're relieved to see a familiar setting and leave the horrors you've encountered behind, but something feels off. You open the door and peek inside your apartment. It's quiet. It's not until you step over the threshold that you catch a glimpse of the person lying on the floor next to the table. You walk closer, gazing into the milky white eyes that stare blankly at the ceiling, unblinking and not breathing. They're your eyes. Your face. Your body. It's you. But it can't be. You're here. What's happening? In a daze, you step over your own stiffened corpse and make your way through the living room. You make it to the bathroom, hit the light, and catch your reflection in the mirror. The hunger washes over you like a viral current. You no longer have control. It's time to feed. Congrats, you achieved a fairly ultra-horrible ending. Play again and test your fate to achieve the slightly less horrible ending, because, well, horrible endings are horrible. Well, we reached an ending. I actually don't know what necessarily affects the ending, but we reached an ending. I don't know if I'd want to start... I'm honestly not sure if I'd want to sit there and solve the entire gallery again from scratch. But we have definitely reached an ending, and it's definitely a fitting ending for such a horror-themed thing. I'm sure... I get the feeling that any other endings are probably also horrible, but different horrible. Anyway, guys, this has been a ride, I think. So, thanks for watching like always, and I'll see you next time. And if you want to experiment with this game yourself, you can find the download link in the description to the Steam page. This book is a dungeon. This dungeon is a book.